I know it's hard to keep track of what's happening in your community. There is so much noise out there. It is hard to figure out what your local governments are up to. But there is something happening in the Cobb County government I did want to make you aware of, specifically an effort by Chairwoman Lisa Cupid to have elected officials and politicians take on a greater role in operating the county government, especially when it comes to appointing leaders of agencies and departments. Cobb County is a county manager form of government. The Board of Commissioners is elected to set policy for the county. They pass ordinances, they work on zoning cases, they pass the budget. The county manager then implements that policy and operates the county government. That includes HR functions. And because the county manager is graded or evaluated on how well the county operates, the goal has always been to find leaders who would be the most professional and responsive when running the agencies and departments of Cobb County, responsive to the residents of Cobb County. And when I would look around the room, I would see a good mix of leaders, anything from the parks director, library director, transportation, water, a good group that came from within, that were promoted from within. Any agency wants to create a path for leaders to emerge. And there were also a group that came in from the outside. I was one of those when I came to Cobb County government so many years ago. And here's how that process would typically take place. When an agency director or department director's opening would come up, the county manager would tell the HR to put it out, strategically advertise it to get the biggest group of applicants possible. Then a committee would be formed of roughly half dozen other agency directors or department directors, occasionally deputy directors. And that committee then would take the applicants, then have to go through them all. It was a lovely chore, and rank them, send that list back to HR, and then HR would send the committee a list of candidates they think needed to be interviewed. And those interviews would often take place over several days. Then the committee would get together and argue and go back and forth before sending a final list of candidates to the county manager for that vetting process to eventually take place. Occasionally, depending on the agency or department, those candidates would also go before the Board of Commissioners for further interviews. The board would provide its feedback to the county manager before an appointment would eventually be made. These departments were well run because of this system. Over the past decade, they'd received recognition on state, federal, and international levels for the service they were providing to Cobb County government. In other words, there did not seem to be a problematic situation that needed a solution. And the chairwoman's never terribly well articulated why she wants to make these changes, but that was an effort that started last year with the police chief. His appointment was delayed. It continues to the present time, to the point where several leadership positions are being held hostage as this effort moves forward. Now, you may be sitting and listening to this saying, why should I care about this? This sounds an awful lot like inside baseball. Well, I'll tell you why. First of all, the chairwoman has convinced two other commissioners to allow the county to hire a search firm to continue on with this effort, and that costs you taxpayer dollars. But the second thing is far more impactful, and we don't have to crack open the history books to see this. When elected officials can appoint leaders of the government that they're involved with from the agencies and the departments, the shift of those leaders will go from running a department that is professional and responsive to running that department at the behest of the elected official who put them there. And that, for Cobb County, is not a good thing.